Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Hopefully all of you in the US had a great Thanksgiving, but as the holidays are behind us, that means patch 9.2 should be making its way over on the test realms, hopefully by the end of this week or by next week. This will be the first time we'll be able to explore the brand new zone, try the new raid, try out Tezavesh and M+, and test some of the new PvP updates. In this video, I want to do an overview of everything we know so far for 9.2 within PvP. Besides the two new arenas announced for this update, we have new trinkets for Season 3, a new trinket set bonus to keep the PvP gear the most competitive within PvP situations, as well as data mined seasonal rewards, which could mean we'll have multiple PvP seasons within the update of 9.2. And do expect many more updates going forward as patch 9.2 makes it over on the test realms. There's likely going to be more class changes that will affect PvP, as well as specific PvP class scaling, tuning, and PvP talent changes. First, let's start off with 3 new PvP trinkets data mined for 9.2, a Malediction trinket, an Aegis trinket, and a Resonator. This new Malediction trinket still puts a healing debuff on the enemy target, though with a bit of a catch. When you use it, you'll channel absorbs from nearby enemies, and that absorption will accumulate into the debuff that you will then splash into the target in the frontal cone within 15 yards. This one is a little more complicated to use, compared to the other Malediction trinkets that simply did some shadow damage and put a debuff on the enemy target. This one will absorb shields, and when you think about it, quite a lot of classes use shields. Disc Priest, Monks with Cocoon, Mages with a triple prismatic barrier shield, Warlocks if they're playing Dark Pact, or anybody playing Necrolord. There's actually a lot of shields, and a lot of that absorb could be redirected as a healing debuff on the target. The next is Cosmic Gladiator's Eternal Aegis. Activate defenses absorbing 50% of damage taken up to 13,000 damage absorbed, persisting for 1 minute. Cosmic damage is fully absorbed on a 2-minute cooldown. Cosmic damage is a mixture of shadow damage, arcane damage, and holy damage all packed together. There's only a handful of abilities that use cosmic damage, and some of them will be tier set bonuses and others will be other trinkets, maybe from the new raid or even dungeons. The numbers on this trinket don't seem right, as a whole minute duration for 13,000 absorbs seems like a lot. Though with how fast-paced Shadowlands PvP meta has been, maybe a defensive trinket to dampen the opener of a rogue and a mage so you can actually play the game instead of just getting one-shotted might not be the worst thing. Then we have Cosmic Gladiator's Resonator. You throw a Cosmic Resonator which explodes after 4 seconds, doing 9,000 cosmic damage split between all nearby enemies. Damage is increased for every enemy stuck up to 5 enemies on a 3-minute cooldown. It sounds like you'll use this trinket like a grenade. You'll just throw it on the ground while having the enemy stun lock. You'll go through your burst rotation. As they're about to get out of a stun, it'll explode. And you can use it on AoE, but it'll probably be a lot more valuable in single target. This seems like a simple damage trinket on a 3-minute cooldown, though it does have a little bit of this cooking time to it with 4 seconds to prime before it does damage. Overall, none of these trinkets really seem super strong, except for Eternal Aegis. That seems like a very powerful defensive option. Divine Malediction and the Resonator trinket are very specific in terms of how you use them, but this was probably done on purpose so there isn't too much of a power creep in trinkets. Like, they don't want to make the old trinkets useless, they want to give you options. They see new trinkets to be used side by side with the others, though they're more specific. It's also worth taking all this information about trinkets with a bit of grain of salt, since this is just the data mined version of these trinkets. For all we know, once 9.2 comes out to PTR, these trinkets will function completely differently. This is just a very first insight, and these trinkets are gonna have to be tested and adjusted and tuned to make sure that they're in line and balanced for the next season. PvP trinkets also got a brand new set bonus. When you wear 2 PvP trinkets together, this set bonus is activated. The first set stays going into 9.2, unless that changes in the future. The first set is the one we currently have. Damage and healing benefit of versatility is increased by 40% inside of PvP scenarios. The new bonus comes alongside the original bonus, which reads, increases your primary stat by 175 and stamina by 350 inside of PvP scenarios like arenas, battlegrounds, and war mode. This is quite a decent buff for using PvP trinkets inside of PvP. Like, the amount of primary stat and stamina you get is equivalent to a couple of pieces of gear. It's almost like you're wearing a second chest piece and a second pair of pants just from the primary and stamina stats alone. It's an arms race between PvE and PvP to make sure that PvP is always the best within PvP situations. I want for Blizzard to go into the new raid and Tezavesh dungeon, designing brand new, fun, awesome, and even overpowered trinkets that change the way our classes play. I want the creativity to be all over the place. So to win this PvP arms race, they are adding this bonus. And it's good to see that they are acknowledging that this is needed in order to make sure that PvP gear stays the best within arenas and battlegrounds. Earlier this week, we also got a confirmation that the tier sets will function in all content, raiding, PvP, and Mythic Pluses. In previous expansions, Blizzard had a separate PvP tier set from the raiding one, but this time around it's all going to be the same power gains. We actually put up a video on the channel taking a look at the early version of this tier sets, covering one for every single class and every single spec, everything we've been able to data mine for 9.2. If you're interested, that video is on the channel, so click the channel, hit subscribe while you're at it. It's not the final set in stone list since none of these tier sets have been tested yet, and that's why 9.2 PTR is super exciting, because we'll finally be able to hit some train dummies and some bosses with these things to see if they function properly or fit our class playstyle. And it's very likely that many are going to go through changes and adjustments before they're complete. Normally tier sets are available for raiders, but PvPers and Mythic Plus players will be able to earn those tier sets and upgrade current gear into tier set gear by PvPing and by doing Mythic Pluses. As we go through Zerath Mortis, there's going to be a point where in the storyline we'll figure out what a Forge of Creation is, and we'll use the Forge of Creation to craft the tier set bonuses. If you are not a raider, you'll be able to stick to your favorite activity, Mythic Plus or PvP, in this case we're talking about PvP, to create tier set bonuses just from PvP. This is probably the best thing if you are someone who loves playing just one type of content, one type of endgame. You want to focus on arenas and battlegrounds the whole time playing World of Warcraft. You won't have to touch other content if you want to earn your tier sets. During the data mining of all this information, we also data mined that 2 PvP mounts have been added for both factions. One of them is a vicious Warp Stalker, which looks kind of like a mix between a fox and a wolf together that comes from Zerath Mortis. What's to note about this mount is it also has a unique special animation, something that I think is actually new that we haven't seen before. The second set of mounts are vicious toads, and as a personally loyal disciple of Krogwa himself and someone who played in Battle for Azeroth, I love frog mounts. Both of these mounts are marked with the tag Vicious, Vicious Toads, and Vicious Warp Stalkers. Vicious mounts are generally mounts that are available for the season. Those are the seasonal PvP mounts that Blizzard adds every single big major content update. But this time we have 2 of them. We have the Toads and the Warp Stalkers. Normally there's just one for Horde, one for Alliance. So either this will be mounts obtainable, maybe one through a vendor and the other through participation in PvP, or maybe both of them will be seasonal mounts and it'll be 2 seasons inside of patch 9.2. Maybe there'll be another season inside of patch 9.25, or maybe Blizzard lied altogether when they said patch 9.2 will be the final patch of Shadowlands, and in fact it was a red herring that 9.3 will actually be a thing. Right now it's a lot of guesses, who knows, but I thought it was an interesting concept. What if we'll get multiple seasons in patch 9.2? There'll most likely be quite a wait between the end of Shadowlands and the new expansion, so having a new PvP season will give players another thing to work towards as they're waiting for the new content update. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. However, I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys like this video, found it informative, give it a thumbs up. It helps out the channel tremendously. And let me know in the comments below what do you think about everything we talked so far. Do you think there's a potential about a second season in patch 9.2 so we have an extra mount to earn while waiting for the next expansion? What do you think about the Trinket updates? Do you think it's going to be enough to keep things competitive? And what class changes would you want to see for PvP for patch 9.2? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next one.